Welcome. What's up, boys? What's going on?
What's going on?
How you doing?
Episode 46 of the Theater Room. Close to 50. I can't even believe I've done this many episodes. Well, thanks for jumping in. Thanks for taking a little bit of time. We got a bunch of shit to talk about. There was some big episodes that happened last week. And are you guys caught up on everything?
Yes.
Everything but the boys.
Everything but the boys. Can I just say, Scythe, real quick before we even jump into it? I think I noticed your logo was on your little headphones there. Mm-hmm. Is that a little sticker for your logo? That's pretty baller, and now I want to do that. So yep. I got to pick it up. Before we get into kind of the meat and potatoes of the show, we have to congratulate the Colorado Avalanche because they won the Stanley Cup. They pretty much deserved it and dominated. It was a fun series if you guys watched. Still wish it was the Rangers, but let's be honest. If the Rangers made it to the finals,
I'm just happy it wasn't Tampa.
I'm happy it wasn't Tampa.
I checked out, but I'm happy it wasn't Tampa.
Honestly, if the Rangers made it to the finals, they would have gotten embarrassed in those finals. Colorado's a whole other beast.
So.
I think so.
I don't think so.
I think so.
It's a tough. It's
you never know,
different
right?
matchup. It's a different matchup.
Yeah. It's a completely different matchup. I mean, the speed and the intensity that Colorado brings to the
Rangers'
table.
depth of defense is much better than Tampa's.
Well, that's true. That's true. I just don't know if they would have been able to keep up. I mean, we saw they weren't able to keep up with Tampa, so I don't know if they'd be able to keep up with someone.
They were able to keep up with Tampa. They weren't able to break a neutral zone trap, which Colorado was. That's why Colorado was able to beat them.
Well, I think
Tampa wasn't a fat team.
No, but I felt that the Rangers just lost steam. They just couldn't, Once Tampa got their feet under them, then the Rangers
final games they were slow.
What happened was Gallant got outcoached by John Cooper.
I don't disagree with that.
That's part of it.
Yeah.
If you put a neutral zone trap on the Rangers and they can't get through the neutral zone with their speed, they didn't know what to do after that.
And they messed with the one line that actually was performing for you.
Yeah,
he had to break that up because they weren't performing well against Tampa.
I still don't get the sitting Kakko in that last game, but I mean,
honestly, I want him to trade Kakko.
He could. I don't think you're losing too much.
Kakko has done nothing. Get rid of him.
I think he's good enough where you still get something decent, but I don't think he's really done much that you're losing a ton.
No.
I don't know that he's going to mess up the dynamic of the line. The kid line was good for a couple of series.
You could put anybody with Lafreniere and Cheadle, and then it'll work.
Right, because it was really Lafreniere and Cheadle that did all the work. So
exactly, Kakko's just there.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, no one comes into the theater room to talk about sports. So before we get too deep into that, I do want to point out one of my favorite series of games is now, as of right now, available on Nintendo Switch for $19.99. Portal 1 and 2. Have you guys played those games?
No.
I played Portal 1 for a little while, but I really wasn't a fan.
Oh, I love those games. I like the puzzle games. I like the comedy and the writing. And honestly, it's a good deal because for $20, you're basically getting 3 full games. There's Portal 1, the single player for Portal 2, and then the co-op mode in Portal 2, which is its own story, a whole separate kind of campaign mode. So it's 3 games for $20. It's on Nintendo Switch. You could play it. I can't stress this enough. You can play it on the shitter. So I implore you, if you've never played it, give it a shot. Buttersworth,
you can play on the shitter. TMNT, Shredder's
Revenge, which I still got to get. I've been kind of holding out that my birthday month, in this Father's Day, I might get an Xbox, and I can just get it on Game Pass. But my birthday's actually tomorrow, so we'll find out by the end of this week. If I don't get it by this week, then I'm buying the game.
You're going to do a $400 purchase to get a free game, or when you can get a $20 purchase on your Switch.
Yeah, but then I could play a lot of other games on Game Pass.
No, I agree.
Really, it's a $400 purchase. Or I'm looking for the Series S. Let's be honest. I don't need the X. But I'm really looking forward for Starfield, to be honest.
I did it. I did the free Game Pass one for my PC, but I also bought it for the Switch so I can just take it with me because it's such a fun beat 'em up game.
So
It's to the core how it was years ago.
my only concern about buying it is that is the replay value there? I don't want. I know it's not a full price game, but if I'm gonna play it once or twice, then beat it once or twice and never touch it again, I don't know if it's worth paying for.
I think it's there, and you can always have people join you, and it's just I don't know.
I do think it seems like they're gonna have DLC with new characters and stuff, so it might be worth it. Buttersworth, happy belated birthday, my man. Buttersworth's birthday was yesterday. So this is consider this your birthday stream. I should have put that in the title. Buttersworth birthday stream. So let's get into it. Fred, I want to talk about Herogasm first. Do you want to like mute so we don't spoil it, or are you just gonna accept the spoilers?
I'm out.
All right, we're gonna have a moment of silence from ScytheX so we can just talk about Herogasm. Carmine, my man, tell me what you thought. I'm gonna say right now, 9 out of 10 episode for me. What do you think?
Yeah, it was an amazing episode. Although I will say, I felt a little Doctor Strange-esque about this, where I was expecting way more from Herogasm.
From the actual like Herogasm,
yeah, from the actual like Herogasm, like the way they were hyping it up, like I kind of expected. It was kind of like what it wasn't, and this isn't a knock at all,
right? No, I know what you're getting at.
In all honesty, the episode itself, like from beginning to end, was amazing. Every storyline they have going on in that episode, even the stuff with Frenchie and stuff like that.
Oh yeah,
like, absolutely amazing. It was definitely a 9 out of 10 episode. I was just expecting way more like nutty stuff happening during Herogasm, and it was just kind of like any other orgy we've ever seen with like a little bit.
Yeah, like I will say, if you've watched Spartacus or any of those kind of shows, then like it didn't do anything new for the orgy part.
I wanted to see more like heroes implementing powers.
Right.
There's a few. There's a couple. There's a little bit.
I see what you're saying though. They really like for what 2 weeks since they basically told us that this was the week we're getting Herogasm. They did nothing but talk about how raunchy and how they can't show a lot and whatever.
That's what I'm saying.
And it was really like what 15 minutes of the whole episode maybe was focused on the Herogasm stuff. Yeah. Everything else was just standard show.
I'm sure they couldn't go too in depth without crossing over into that like X-rated, area. But I don't know. I was expecting to see more superhero themed sexcapades going on.
What was your favorite moment from the episode? Let me ask you that question.
What's it? Soldier Boy and like that first meeting of him and Homelander. He's just like, look at you, you're wearing a cape. Like,
I gotta tell you, man, I really found myself in that moment where him and Homelander were eye to eye. The intensity there, like I found myself as like amped up for that moment than I have as much as I've been for any Marvel moment. I was so kind of like, yo, it's about to fucking go down. And then when the fight was just in full fledged and Butcher came out and was just like, he took that blast to the chest and then was just kind of looking at him like, yo, this ain't gonna be easy for you. His smile, like, and then all three of them like going at it with Homelander, man, it was, oh my god, I was so pumped, so good. I don't know how they're gonna top that for the finale.
Yeah, I don't know. Is the next episode the finale, or is
no? They got at least 2 more. This was episode 6, I believe. Yeah. So I think they go. It's either 8 or 9. I got to double check, but they got at least 2 more. So I think next episode will probably be slower. Kind of rein things in a little bit, prepare, I guess, and then we'll get the finale. That kind of makes sense. But I thought it was a great episode overall. I think the storyline, really, The Boys to me is one of the best superhero shows that we've ever gotten. And it's definitely up there for one of the best superhero shows out right now.
I'd agree with that 100%. Like, it's been from season 1, it really grabs your attention, but it's not just like everybody always talks about the big moments, like bodies exploding and Homelander being gross and jerking off above the city and all these other like weird like big moments, but at its core, the story is really intriguing. The story itself is very
we came
He
back.
grabs your attention more than like the whale exploding and all that other stuff. Like that stuff's amazing to see because we've never seen anything like it before. But
and it's done so well. Like the giant penis head is just, it's really done flawlessly, if you will. My favorite moments though from the episode, like I said, the kind of tag team with Butcher and Soldier Boy against Homelander, that had me just kind of amped. I really got a good belly laugh out of being covered in some superhero semen. We don't know who it was, but that cracked me up so much. And then even right before that, what made me laugh even harder was when I guess it wasn't Miniature Man. I don't know who that is, the shrinking guy. But when he got
another shrinking guy,
another one. But when he came out of that girl's like vagina and like kind of tapped on the shoulder, and it just, whatever that liquid was all over his jacket, it just cracked me up so much. It was such a funny episode. But and honestly, the Deep getting a blowjob from an octopus was
I mean, like,
predictable
at this
but
point,
funny.
Everything with the Deep is just like, because he started off in the series as like this just creep when he pretty much like face rapes Starlight and all this other stuff.
I love that he still is a creep though. That hasn't gone away. He tried to, change his image, but in this episode, you see he's still just as much of a.
It started off super dark,
and
now it's kind of like he's delved into like the more comedic side of it. I guess.
So those are our thoughts. Let us know in the chat what you guys think.
Should probably get Fred back in here, right?
Episode. Let's tell Fred.
Yo,
man, he's back.
We went into it, so.
So anyway, about the boys, I'm just playing.
Spoiler alert about the boys.
So is dead.
Yeah. But anyway, so speaking of superhero stuff, so we had said overall, this isn't a spoiler on the last episode, that The Boys, to both of us, is one of the best superhero shows out there. Let's talk about Miss Marvel. You guys caught up on Miss Marvel?
Yes.
So what'd you guys think of this last episode? I know there was a giant hint on how it's going to connect to Captain Marvel 2. But overall, I thought this last episode, for me, I kind of thought it was a little boring. I thought it was a little slow. I don't know. I didn't connect with it. Episode 2 was better, I thought.
I'm more confused about her than I ever was after the last episode.
But you're basing, I guess you're comparing the show to what her comic book origins and all that stuff are, right?
Yeah, I just don't know. I can't put my finger on the direction that they're going with this, and I don't know. I can't put it.
See, I guess
can't figure it out.
It's a little easier for me because I have no preconceptions of what she's supposed to be. This is my first foray into Miss Marvel. So, what do you think, Zuplex?
So, I mean, I like this episode. Every episode gets a little bit better for me because like I started off the show being like, oh, and now I'm like, all right, she's not as terrible.
I'm definitely not hating the special effects. I know a lot of people online are upset with the way the powers look. I really don't care about
the visuals are very good in the show.
The first episode they were horrible in my opinion.
Well, I feel like in the first episode they just weren't as prevalent. You know what I mean? Like we didn't see much of it.
Yeah.
And then
it's
gotten better and better.
It gets better as it goes on and stuff like that. I don't mind the giant changes they're making to her power set and to like her backstory because like the only thing they're really changing is that she's not an Inhuman anymore, right?
Right.
And they brought in the clandestine, which was like it's a deep cut, like it's a very small.
I was gonna ask, so that's a part of the comic. That's is it from her comic, the clandestine?
So everybody's calling it the clandestine, like one word. It's really what it is their last name is Destine.
Okay.
They're the clan Destine.
Okay. All right.
At least that's how it was in the comics. I mean, they're probably changing it for the show. I mean, very small like part in the comics and stuff like that. Like it wasn't anything huge.
Oh, what link did they have to Miss Marvel, if any, or are they just coming in for the show? Okay.
I think they just decided to use it to replace the Inhumans.
Yeah.
They're just going to use the clandestine, it seems.
I mean, did you guys what do you guys think about where the bracelet came from? I mean, it looked to me.
Yeah, I was just about to say, do you like that the bracelet is part of the 10 rings in some capacity?
So now, what you're so you say that? Yeah, like that's what I was just gonna ask because like the arm that it was on was a blue arm, right? So my initial thought when I was watching the episode, my initial like kind of got it moment was I thought that was signifying that it was a Skrull, and that she was, or not a Skrull, a Kree, and that basically the bracelet came from that technology, and that would be the connection to Ms. Marvel. But then I read yesterday, I think I read something about almost like some sort of confirmation that the bracelet is the same as the rings, is the 10 powered by the 10 rings, but I couldn't confirm that anywhere. So where did you see it?
Where did you see that? Because I couldn't confirm that. I don't know.
Where did I see what? That it came from the 10 rings?
Yeah.
Well, just based off where they got it. In the episode, it showed the 10 rings where the bracelet was. It was like
the logo
in the stone.
I
the
missed
whole
that
10 ring logo.
I completely missed that. I don't even know how I missed that shit.
I missed that too.
Okay,
so that means
I'll find it, put it in the chat, and you can put it in the show so people can see what I'm talking about.
I wonder then if that means that the 10 rings at some point in their exploration or whatever came across Kree technology and kind of repurposed it for themselves. Maybe the Kree came back to reclaim the technology, and then that's where whoever had it at that point got trapped, and then Miss Marvel's grandmother found it.
I put it in the chat, so if you want to pull it up.
Yeah, I'm pulling it up right now. I mean, listen, I think the show is good. I know, a lot of people online are, they want to just whine and complain about it, but.
Oh, wow, look at that. That is the 10 Rings logo.
Yep.
Hold on. Give me a second, peoples. Let me pull this picture up here. Downloaded it. Let's see.
So yeah, I don't know. That's why I'm like more confused on what's going on.
That's interesting then. So, so there's a direct connection then to the 10 rings and a direct connection to Captain Marvel. I mean, yeah.
I still think a lot of this is going to connect more to Eternals than we think.
I'm not even getting the connection to Captain Marvel. It seems they want to connect more to Shang-Chi at this point.
Well, I mean, I think they're going to connect Shang-Chi and Miss Marvel to Captain Marvel and the Eternals. I think that's the road they're heading to. Is that this technology came from alien technology or whatever, and either the Kree or the Skrulls, either way, and that's how it wound up here on Earth, or it could be something that the Eternals brought it. I mean, we're still very early into Miss Marvel, because I read that Miss Marvel's getting like 9 episodes.
It is supposed to get 9 episodes. That's what I read too.
Yeah, so putting that into context, like what I was talking about last week, where I said that I think they're going to be putting a lot of the roadmap. Remember when we were talking about Feige saying that by the end of the summer we're going to know where we're heading? I think a lot of the roadmap is going to be in Miss Marvel. I think they did that on purpose.
It almost seems like it. He also confirmed that there's going to be that there is a Thanos type. Oh, here's the picture, guys. I'm putting it up on the screen for you guys to see, of the 10 Rings logo. I don't want to cover Fred's face here. He did say that excuse me, that there's going to be a Thanos level threat, that he's basically got it planned out already, that we're going to find out about it soon. And
I think when he means by soon, I feel like it could be coming toward the end of Thor. Obviously, we'll probably get something there, maybe. But they are confirmed for Comic-Con.
That's going to be huge.
They're going to have they're going to have a big, they're going to have a big Hall H. And the last time they did that was when they announced the full Phase 4. So
this is what
I think.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Phase 5
I'm getting all excited, and I just want to jump in.
I think they're finally going to announce, the new movies coming in Phase 5 and kind of give us a roadmap of where we're going.
I think it's even more than that. Honestly, I think it's going to be not even just announce the movies coming in Phase 5, but I think we're going to get actual release dates. We're going to get actual titles. So if you remember back when
I mean, that's what when they show the roadmaps, they usually give us all.
They give us all that info. I remember back when I think they were announcing Phase 3 completely, right before Age of Ultron, and they flat out told us we were getting Civil War, we were getting Thor Ragnarok, Black Panther, and they gave us basically release dates or release windows maybe of all those, and the only thing they didn't give us was Avengers and whether it was going to be called Infinity War 1 and 2 or whatever it was, and they kind of changed their tune on that a little bit. So I feel like that's what they're going to do here.
They did the same thing for Phase 4 at Comic-Con like 3 or 4 years ago.
Right, that was when they first announced Blade and Fantastic Four, but we didn't have dates though, right? Except for maybe Phase 4 movies that we had dates.
They gave us the dates for all Phase 4. Yeah.
So they gave us the date for Thor: Love and Thunder. They gave us the titles.
It feels like that was so long ago, man.
Yeah.
For all the movies, like they told us it was going to be called Wakanda Forever. They told us it was going to be called Thor: Love and Thunder.
Right.
What do you think? For all that stuff.
Prediction time. What do you think? Do we see any footage at all of Blade?
No, but I think we're going to get Deadpool. I think we're going to get footage of Deadpool 3.
You think footage? I feel like in my gut, it's almost a guarantee we're going to get some sort of announcement about Deadpool 3, some confirmation.
Yeah, I think we're going to get an announcement of the date. I mean, I don't even think they're in production yet.
You never know, though. I mean, it's possible they could be filming from home. Ryan Reynolds could be doing some random shit from his basement.
Maybe sitting on his couch or something in the suit, just talking shit.
Well, that could be. Maybe we don't get Deadpool 3 footage, but we get Deadpool footage, like him announcing. See now, listen. If Marvel wants to really win over anybody who thinks Phase 4 is kind of crap, they put Ryan Reynolds in a Deadpool outfit and have him announce the entire Phase 5 lineup and Phase 6 and any new things. Just have him do the whole thing. Pay him whatever pay him. I know,
Fans
but
wouldn't hate it.
I could dream. All right, stop popping my bubbles here. I could dream.
I think a more realistic idea of what we're gonna get at that Comic-Con. I mean, at the most, probably a trailer for Wakanda Forever.
I think we'll get something, a teaser for sure. Buttersworth says you're gonna see a lot of it, a lot still. Deadpool, Ant-Man, and Blade. I do think we get our first footage or some sort of maybe images of Ant-Man, maybe Kang. We see for the first time. Maybe a picture of him.
the next one up, right?
That's
as
there's
movies go.
I don't believe so. Let me pull up the list here.
I think it's Wakanda Forever.
Yeah.
Oh, Wakanda's next. Okay.
Upcoming MCU movie.
I believe that's in November, unless it got pushed back for a 19th time.
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if it gets pushed back, man. There's still a lot to go, a long way to go, I should say. It looks like we got. Oh, come on, give me I just need one picture. I don't need a freaking link.
Honestly, I think they're having a lot of problems with Wakanda Forever, trying to figure out how to navigate without Chadwick Boseman.
I think they are too. I think not even just that. I think they're just a lot of issues with the cast. Everything with COVID is kind of messed up.
I heard that they wrapped up filming, and they're in.
But post production you could do reshoots. There's still a lot of problems.
Yeah. I heard they went back into reshoots after post.
We got Thor: Love and Thunder. We got the She-Hulk show coming out this year. Yeah, Wakanda Forever is technically supposed to be November of this year.
Yeah.
And then you got Guardians of the Galaxy for Disney Plus, the holiday special. Okay, then it's Ant-Man and the Wasp. That's early next year. So that
April, right?
February actually.
February?
Yeah. Then Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. So I think we'll see some footage of that. That's almost like a no-brainer. That one's been done for a while. Secret Invasion to Disney Plus, and then the Marvels, which is July of 2023. Deadpool 3 at some point we'll just see. Blade at some point we'll see. Captain America 4, maybe we get some info on that.
Mm-hmm.
What do you about Fantastic Four? Do you guys think they start announcing any cast?
Yeah.
You think we get any confirmation there?
They might do a cast announcement at Comic-Con for Fantastic Four.
Honestly, that might be ballin'.
I've been reading a lot that it's not going to be John Krasinski.
No, it seems
I'm perfectly
more
fine with
like
that.
He did it for the fans for that one, scene.
Yeah,
whatever,
I agree. I think
part.
Feige was pretty much like, look, we don't want John Krasinski, but the fans want it, so let's just give him. Here's a perfect opportunity. Throw John Krasinski in there and call it a day. Let's pop his head. Let's make him look like not the smartest man in the universe, and let's move on. So,
I really hope that they start really like giving us like rules to this multiverse thing.
Because
kind of seem to be all over the place a little bit.
See, I don't think we're gonna get rules. Like, I don't think they're gonna announce that kind of stuff. I think we're gonna get movies.
But for instance, like, all right, Loki and all his variants all look completely different. You know,
right?
Most, they're all very different or like kind of the same. And it's like, and then Doctor Strange and all his variants look exactly the same, just with like a ponytail or whatever.
Right.
Christine, all her variants, like all the characters in Doctor Strange that had variants, they all look like the same.
I don't know if that's a plot hole. I mean, I feel like the MCU,
Spider-Man was different though.
That's what I'm saying. And then Spider-Man's different, so it's like, Peter Parker's different in every universe, but Doctor Strange is the same in every universe. And
the thing is, the MCU, Feige has a team that's literally just meant to make sure everything is kind of in line. So I feel like that's a pretty gaping mistake if they're just not consistent with it. So there's got to be a reason, which I agree with you. Maybe we'll get an answer for. I feel like we're not going to get much concrete like rules until Ant-Man. I think Ant-Man 3 is going to really lay it out there for us. Like, this is how it works. And, I honestly, I kind of hope they stop with the multidimensional stuff soon.
Is Ant-Man still considered Phase 4, or is that going to link into Phase 5?
Honestly, maybe that's what they clarify for us at the show. Because as far as I know, everything that's coming out is Phase 4 still. We really don't know when there's Phase 5.
Honestly, I think they're getting away from the whole phase thing altogether, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
do we really need the phase thing anymore?
Well, I think Feige wants it more to be just sagas. So instead of Phase 4, 5, 1, 2, and 3 is a saga, it'll just be the next saga is whatever. Every movie is a part of that saga. Just when it's over, it's over.
It made sense in the Infinity Saga. It made sense, right?
Right.
Because pretty much every phase was capped off by an Avengers movie.
Right.
We're not going to have that going forward. So why continue with this?
We will maybe after Secret Wars. It may come back.
I don't know why you guys think that Secret Wars is coming anytime soon.
It's not coming soon. I don't think so. I think that's what we're going to get.
I think it's going to be the end of Phase 5.
Not a chance. There's not a chance.
I think
you're out of your mind, dude.
So I think I agree with you, Zuplex. I feel like they're gonna announce Secret Wars is coming during Comic-Con or San Diego Comic-Con, but I think they're gonna literally say, look, see, we're building towards Secret Wars, but we got 10 more years before you even see that. So let's just it's coming and let's just move on. Let's just put it in the back burner and leave it alone. I just feel like to do it justice, you need to introduce a lot of different characters, and they're not even close.
There's no way, because all right, so if you're saying by the end of Phase 5 and they're about to announce Phase 5, right? We already know that Guardians, Blade are all in Phase 5.
Right?
Fantastic Four will be in Phase 5, presumably, according to your timeline, right? You still have to introduce all of the X-Men.
Well, now probably doing one movie.
But I was going to say,
5 will be what?
I don't think you get individual X-Men movies. Well, think of it this way: if we're still in Phase 4 and we have movies right now going out to 2024 that are slated to come out, if Phase 5 doesn't start, say, until 2024, 2025, then the end of that is not going to be until 2028, 2029. So I mean, it's a good amount of time. However, I agree with you. I think that Scythe, I agree, they're going to give us one movie, maybe Deadpool 3. They're going to introduce a bunch of mutants, whether they call them X-Men or not. It's just going to be a bunch of mutants. Maybe from there you go into like a Secret Wars, but I don't think you do it justice unless you give us a full-blown X-Men, a full-blown Fantastic Four. Like, we need established groups, you know what I mean, in all these different spots.
I think that they are going to stick to their original plan of introducing the X-Men
separate
in other Marvel properties, and then bring them all together to be the X-Men.
So you think the way they did Quicksilver and WandaVision, Xavier technically was in Doctor Strange.
The going theory right now is that if they do,
you said do.
Sorry,
do.
If they do if they get the rights and they're able to do another standalone Hulk movie.
Oh God, I hope.
Wolverine. into
God.
a Hulk movie.
Don't even get me
Right?
started.
And
I
then,
hope, man. I would love to see
you
another
know,
World War Hulk.
Storm originally was supposed to be introduced in Wakanda Forever. That was
I think we get that
marriage.
still.
I don't think we do because it was supposed to be the marriage storyline of him and of her and Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah, but you can still introduce her. I think you still introduce her. I think they're still going to give us maybe the character that becomes her, but maybe not. You know, they're not going. She's not going to have powers
Maybe.
or anything like that.
But they pivoted and they already announced that they're introducing Riri Williams into Wakanda Forever.
Yeah. Oh well.
They're not going to introduce Ironheart and Storm, right?
I guess not. Yeah. They don't want to overdo it. They got to slow it down a little bit. I don't know.
I mean, you know, there's different characters that they could bring in, like Gambit. You can probably introduce him into like a Moon Knight show.
Does Moon Knight get a season 2? Do you think they announced that at Comic-Con? I think so.
I don't see why it wouldn't, dude.
I think so. I think we get a trailer for
Again,
Loki too.
We talked about the Disney Plus stuff. I think they're playing fast and loose with. It's not necessarily going to be maybe Moon Knight season 2. It'll be
right.
You know, Moon Knight and Blade season. You know, season 1 or whatever.
Or Scarlet Scarab. Or something
it'll
like
be it'll be Moonlight and the Scarab or something.
Yeah, Moon Knight and the Scarab season 1 or whatever. However, they're gonna.
What's now? Let's do this. I'm gonna go to you first, Scythe. What is your your fan request? What would make you happy in San Diego Comic-Con? What that they would announce?
Something Gambit related.
So not X-Men, just Gambit specifically.
Give me a Gambit Disney Plus series, and I'll be happy with everything else they do.
All right, I'm going to you then, Zuplex. What is yours? What's your fan request for Comic-Con?
I want to know. Want to have a better idea of how they're introducing the X-Men.
All right, we know that, but what movie or property do you want to see them announce? That's what I want.
X-Men. I want them to be like, listen, this is what we're doing with X-Men, or give us something like we said, like all right, Wakanda Forever, you're going to see Storm.
I tell you what, my fan casting, I will say it's a successful show if they give us footage of Daredevil, of Charlie Cox in the outfit, some sort of teaser, behind the scenes thing, something of him and Kingpin working together behind the camera. Or in front of the camera.
I mean, we know Daredevil's coming though. So what?
But I want to see it.
But what don't we know that's coming that you want to see?
No, I want to see more. All right, so it's something that we don't know what's coming that I want to see.
We've gotten 3 seasons of Daredevil. That's like being like, I can't wait to see Chris Evans as Captain America again.
All right. You guys just raining on my parade again. How about I want to see a confirmation that they're doing a Hulk standalone movie, World War Hulk. And I want like a poster. I want like a fan art of him holding Wolverine in 2 pieces with like, I don't know, the Avengers around him, Captain America basically with broken wings, and Hulk just bloodied and like ready to freaking go to war. That's what I want to see. That would make me happy.
So I have heard the rumors going around about the Hulk movie, and the version of the rumors where they introduce Wolverine isn't World War Hulk.
That's what I've heard too, which it would make sense, honestly. If you introduce Wolverine in a movie like that with Hulk, I mean, it's going to blow minds. Buttersworth
do the Hulk versus Wolverine.
Oh, I would love it. Honestly, I would absolutely love it. Buttersworth says, I would love a Marvel Knights story with Daredevil and Punisher. So that would be cool, too. There's been a lot of rumors that Jessica Jones is coming back.
Buttersworth, you want that? Go watch season 2 of Daredevil.
You basically get that, yeah.
I would love for Jessica Jones to come back.
I'll tell you what, man, it is definitely an exciting time right now. The fact that they announced they're going back to a convention like that is huge.
I got a funny feeling that San Diego, they're going to be announcing a lot of the movies. So traditionally, before D23 and before coronavirus and all this other stuff that shut the cons down, it used to be all the movies would get announced at San Diego Comic-Con, but all the Netflix shows would get announced at New York Comic-Con. Mm-hmm. I'm wondering if they go to a similar, and they used to do D23 every other year. Now they do it every year. So I'm wondering if they go movies at San Diego, Disney Plus at New York.
Right, maybe
That would be
swap it
dope,
up a
but
little
I
bit.
just don't, I can't see them doing it. I feel like they would save it for D23.
I mean, I don't
Yeah,
disagree with you.
D23 has kind of become the bigger show specifically for the Star
They're
Wars
gonna,
Marvel
yeah,
stuff.
right.
For
Yeah,
Disney,
just,
you know what I mean? Like,
I don't
They're gonna
disagree
unload
with
everything.
you, but I'm just wondering, you know, because they've always had such a big presence at New York
Yeah.
Comic Con.
No, I agree, and it'd be amazing because I would love to go next year and see some crazy Disney Plus showcase. That'd be insane.
I've
be
got
fantastic.
tickets
Can
this
you
year,
imagine?
fellas. I think you guys should be joining me. I'm just saying.
I gotta try. I gotta see what I can do.
We'll see.
I'm broke, but
I'll be
sticking
there
to
all 3 days going live on GGEN's.
hell yeah,
socials.
man, go live.
There you go.
Live tweet that shit. Just real quick, sticking to the Marvel stuff. So Thor: Love and Thunder comes out next week. I'm going to see it on the 7th, on Thursday. I think around 8:30 we're going to go see it, the captain and I. But have you guys seen the early reactions? I mean, a lot of people online, from what I'm reading, are saying it's probably the best MCU movie, like, overall.
That's what I'm hearing.
Which is, like, high praise, man. The trailer
doesn't
give me that
crazy
feeling,
high praise about Christian Bale.
Yeah, same here. A lot of talk about just how intimidating he is, how intense he is. Chris Hemsworth apparently killing it. It gets me excited, honestly. It gets me amped. I can't help but getting that little, like, kind of child like giddiness inside of me. You know, I can't wait for this movie. I think it's gonna be huge. I'm just, like, to your point, Scythe. You pointed out a few times now that you think that there's gonna be we're gonna kind of know a lot more about the direction of the MCU at the end of it. I'm afraid that that's not gonna happen, and that will be really disappointing to me if that doesn't happen.
I think you guys gotta stop getting your hopes up for all these movies.
I can't help it, man. I can't help it. I get
This is
excited.
what ruined Doctor Strange for you guys.
Well, Doctor Strange, no.
Doctor Strange?
Even
Doctor
if I
Strange
wasn't
ruined
hyped up,
Doctor
Doctor Strange wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't that great. I rewatched it, and I'm like, ugh.
Didn't have high hopes for all the madness that you guys wanted, and I thoroughly enjoyed the movie.
I enjoyed it, but
I'm just saying,
it wasn't my favorite.
The last time they were at a con, they announced Phase 4 and everything that comes with it. I still think we're gonna get that with Phase 5.
I think
they're not going to show up to a con empty-handed. We're going to get some sort of major.
We're definitely going to be getting something. Yeah, of course. But back to your question of, like, do we know the roadmap after Thor? I don't know. I don't know if we do.
Yeah, I feel like it's almost too soon. I honestly think that we're not going to know the roadmap until after Ant-Man 3. That's what I think.
Well, I think part of the thing is that we're thinking that there's one roadmap.
Well, that's true.
I think there's multiple roadmaps. I think, I mean, for everything we've been talking about for months at this point, that we think that there's going to be different overall arcing storylines going through. And I think Thor's going to give us a storyline, either open up a new one or expand on, like, a cosmic storyline for us.
Excuse you.
Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm still excited for the movie, even if they don't give us, even if we don't have that, perfect kind of lineup for what's coming next. I'm still super excited for the movie, and I don't think it's going to disappoint. Honestly, I think it's going to actually exceed my expectations because the trailer to me looks a little too jokey, a little too, like, kind of comedy. So I've
heard it's really funny too, though.
I've heard that, but for me, I've heard that it's also as more epic than it seems, which was my biggest fear with Gore the God Butcher. I wanted it to be this epic movie that I didn't think they could do in one time.
You know how Disney cuts their trailers, though. Like, there's always that.
Right. Well, for all we know, the entire trailer is not in the movie.
Yeah,
true.
exactly.
Very true.
Because there is that quick shot in the trailer of them fighting where everything's like black and white, but Valkyrie's in color.
Like, what the hell is that about?
Yeah, like that seems like a very small part of a very epic scene going on. Right. So I don't know. I mean, I'm still worried about, like, I know everybody's been touting Christian Bale because everybody loves the guy so much, but I'm worried about him being Gore.
See, I think he's gonna kill it as a character. I mean, the guy's a good actor.
I don't like the way he looks, man.
Well, yeah, that's
like the way he looked.
I hate the way the all black Necro sword looks.
See, but I have a feeling that what we saw in the trailer is, like, when he grabs the sword is kind of early in the movie, and as the movie goes on and as he uses its power, I think it's going to kind of morph a little bit. Because I agree
also
with you, it
think,
doesn't really look like it's supposed to look. I don't think. Sorry, go ahead.
I
Seth.
also think a lot of the visual effects weren't done yet for the trailer. You know what I mean? Like it'll be more enhanced in the movie.
I mean, maybe, but the sword itself looks
just looks like a sword,
like a regular like a black broadsword.
It looks like a cosplay sword.
Yeah,
but that's why I feel like that's like maybe that's when he grabs the sword, but like maybe when he grabs it, it activates whatever power it has or whatever. I think it's going to change the look. I think we're going to be surprised with something. With
I mean, like, listen, if this was like any other weapon, wouldn't really care that much. But the all black necro sword is like a very important key weapon. It's the first symbiote.
Right, that's huge. I'm curious to know if they're going to dive into the symbiote side of it.
I mean, like, I don't know. Me and Fred had watched that trailer breakdown, and we had seen, like, if you watch, what type of cut was that, Fred? Like an HD cut or an IMAX cut or something like that?
Yeah.
I rewatched the trailer, and you don't see those side pieces.
I think it was probably an IMAX cut.
Yeah, so the IMAX cut has like what looks to be symbiotes in the background.
So that gets me excited for Venom, for an actual Venom that's actually a good Venom, not Tom Hardy.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, I'd be excited for Null. Like at the end of Thor, they're like, Null's coming.
That'd be sick.
I'm all in, baby. You can show me as many Miss Marvel bullshit episodes as you want, as long as I know Null's coming.
Last question about Thor, actually, before we move on to the main event. Pun intended. Do you think Thor dies by the end of this movie? So I know there's been a lot of rumors that he's done that after this.
I think Jane Foster does.
So you think? I mean, I can see that she's not. I guarantee Natalie Portman's not too excited to be signing on and doing.
I mean, that's the rumors that I've heard, is that she doesn't want to do any more after this, and he's like, "I'll play Thor as long as you guys want me to play Thor."
That's what. Yeah, because I saw the rumor that he wants to be done with it, but then like the next day, it's, I'll do every Thor movie possible.
Well, I didn't read that he wants to be done with it. I just read that like Feige is essentially like, yeah, okay, this is it. Only because, and I think the reason why that could be is because the salary for these actors is getting higher and higher, and it kind of business wise makes more sense to get rid of Chris Hemsworth, who's probably raking in millions of dollars per movie, and bring some new faces in to kind of take over the Thor name. Beta Ray Bill, you can hire some no-name person and pay him the minimum for the first movie he does.
Yeah, but the problem I have with all that, and we've been seeing it, and I think the captain and us have touched on this a couple times, is when you start replacing all of these characters with other characters, it feels like we're getting like the B Squad Avengers.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, and so, I guess we'll have to see how they handle that.
Like, too far away from what we grown to love.
Yeah.
That's sad. It's a sad realization.
The only one I think that could really hold up at this point, because you're still gonna have Doctor Strange for a little while. You're still gonna have Benedict Cumberbatch just for a little while. You'll probably still have Tom Hiddleston,
right.
Loki for a little while. I think Anthony Mackie could definitely take over the Captain America Falcon.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to his movie.
Yeah,
me too.
Just to see him, what I will say, out of everything that we've seen so far in Phase 4, all the passing of the torches and all that stuff, the one that was handled the best, I think, is Captain America. I know, I know Rhodey is getting his own show, but as far as I'm concerned, it's almost like a little too. It's like a little too little, too late for him. I'm looking forward to it, and I'm definitely gonna watch it, and I'm rooting for him. But so much time has passed. Bro. They should have but they should have done it the same time. Falcon Winter Soldier came out. We should have already gotten an Armor Wars instead of getting a Miss Marvel and all that stuff. It's almost a little effed up that we're still waiting on any information on his show. You know what I mean? And I'm not taking away from it.
The OGs should have got their show first.
Right.
I agree.
And to me, Captain America, I'm as amped for Captain America 4 because of how quickly they essentially kind of handled that passing of the torch, and they did it in such a way that made sense. So that's just my opinion, but
and he's a character that we've already kind of grown to love a little bit.
Right. Right.
as like a smaller side character or whatever you want to call it.
No, we have. I mean, we've seen him since Phase 2. Early Phase 2.
Yeah. And he's a fan favorite. People love him. I think he's great at it. You know what I'm saying?
Excuse me.
I love the character myself.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. I never liked Falcon. I never liked Falcon, and then the movie made me think he was cool.
Same. Yeah, but the relationship between him and Bucky, I think, is really strong, really good.
Absolutely.
So them teaming up in a movie is going to be fantastic, right? But then after that, we have, and don't get me wrong, I loved Haley Stanfield as Kate Bishop. Mm-hmm. Like Hawkeye was one of my favorite shows that they made so far.
Right, I agree.
I really enjoyed her, but like, not Hawkeye.
Right. Like, see, I feel like War Machine should have got his show or his like passing the torch moment or whatever before Hawkeye should have. And not to take away from Hawkeye, because I liked Hawkeye and I really liked the show, but Iron Man arguably was the most important character on screen, and they still haven't handled that transition. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So like him and Captain America should have came
out. It should have came out like Hawkeye is fine where they put it, but after that should have been Armor Wars.
Maybe not Miss Marvel. Yeah,
instead of Moon Knight and Miss Marvel, that should have came after.
Or even What If?
I think one of the problems.
I mean, What If it's kind of unnecessary. They could have put Armor Wars there. We all thought it would
take any time to. They could put out.
Well, right. That's why. I guess that's why they did it. I mean, listen, with COVID, maybe they had plans to do it in that order or a different order.
No, because I think in the overall story, they want to introduce Riri before they do Armor Wars.
Right, so that's why they want Black Panther
to have Riri Williams in Armor Wars, right? So, I mean, they were always planning on introducing her into Wakanda Forever. So, you got. I mean, I agree with you guys that it sucks that we didn't get Armor Wars sooner,
right?
But I think in the overall story, if that's the way they're going, it makes more sense,
right?
Do it this way.
I mean, listen, like I said, we're gonna watch it anyway, and just for the fact that it's a War Machine show, I actually, just as going back to when I was a kid, I always liked War Machine better than Iron Man. I just thought he was a cooler character. So, to see him on screen is cool, and I can't wait.
But it's like the other question of like, my other issue that I have with all of this going on is that we had Iron Man, and then we had Captain America. Leaders basically of the Avengers that everybody gravitated towards, like we were all like, oh, it's Iron Man and it's Cap, and even when they had Civil War, it was Iron Man, it was Cap, and everybody split sides or whatever. You don't have anybody stepping up to be that type of character in this next version of the MCU.
I think they're wanting it to be Doctor Strange.
So that's what
That's what it seems like.
That's what I felt like until Doctor Strange 2.
And this, I just rewatched Doctor Strange 2, and I can't believe I didn't think about this the first time around, because it seems like what they're doing is they're setting up possibly Strange Academy.
Yeah, I could see that. But that's
Doctor
separate.
Strange is always like teaching these children, like Spider-Man, and then now America Chavez and whatever, and he brings America Chavez into Carmitage and everything like that. And it seems, and knowing Marvel, right? Strange Academy was their #1 best-selling book last year in its first year of production or whatever, and everybody really loves that story. It's actually a very good. I mean, I like it. It's a very good book, but I could see them because they've been tending to stick to like trying to give us the best selling comics also.
Right. Mm-hmm. Right.
Like that's why we got Miss Marvel when we did.
And the book
for a while.
What's the name?
The Hawkeye, that Fraction Hawkeye too, like Kate Bishop and all that stuff. Like those books were very well received, made a lot of money as far as Marvel's concerned. So I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. So,
but all right. So let's say we got Doctor Strange as one leader. Like who's the second? Like
Well, that's the thing. I
Who's
feel
the
like
one that's leading the new Avengers?
I think the new Captain America will be eventually.
You think so?
Yeah, I think it'll. I almost think it'll
Probably.
be a combo of him and Rhodes. Like it'll be War Machine and Captain America, but like
I don't think
you know,
Rhodes would.
I would love
That's
to.
the thing.
I think he
I don't
should.
think Rhodey could take that on.
He should. They should give him the respect he deserves, and he should do it.
I don't disagree with you. I just don't see them doing it for whatever reason.
The thing is, you got to remember the new Avengers, whatever the new Avengers team is, they're going to be controlled by the government. So like the Sokovia Accords are in full effect. So there's no
Sokovia Accords are destroyed after the blip.
no. I don't think so. That's why in Miss Marvel we got the damage what's it called DOD tracking down unregistered superheroes. I think that's Sokovia Accords. I think they're basically doing their job now.
Sokovia Accords. Remember and Captain America and the Winter Soldier, they were talking. There was nothing talked about with the Sokovia Accords. They were talking.
Well,
about,
no,
like,
I mean I'm using Sokovia Accords as the
new
name.
government world order when it comes to all this stuff. Like they're dealing with blip shit. They're not even.
I agree, but what I'm
Sokovia
saying is that
Accords.
maybe it's not called Sokovia Accords anymore, but the results, what Tony was talking about during Captain America: Civil War, has basically come true. So we have a government agency now that's trying to register all superheroes. So the new Avengers team is going to be registered with whatever the government is that's going to run them.
Well, if you think about it, they were always ran by the government because Shield was running them.
Yeah.
Shield was running them.
Yeah, but Shield didn't answer to anybody. They answered to themselves. They didn't.
They destroyed Shield by Captain America 2.
Right. That's true. By Age of Ultron, there was no Shield anymore.
Yeah.
The point is, they were ran by a government agency, and damage control is basically like
no, but I don't think that. I wouldn't say they were though, because
the
Tony
cleanup
Stark
crew after a major.
But I wouldn't say they were really run by them, because Iron Man or Tony Stark is the one who bankrolled them. You know what I mean? Like he owned the facility. He basically helped build all the toys. I feel like the whole argument of Civil War is that they weren't, right? I'm sorry. Go ahead, Zuplex.
Real clear-cut lines. I think it's meant to be vague on purpose.
Yeah, well,
where it's like
it's meant to make us argue about it.
They kind of run themselves, but Shield kind of helps them, and it's not really Shield. It's kind of Nick Fury helps them, and Nick Fury is kind of able to just do whatever the fuck Nick Fury does.
Excuse me.
Which is the better question is like Secret Invasion coming also.
Yeah, that's not for a while still. End of 2023, I think.
It's going to come up sooner than you think.
Maybe we'll get some footage of that at San Diego Comic-Con.
Right after the Marvels?
It didn't come up on my list, but I think maybe my list just wasn't showing it, because I'm pretty sure it's supposed to come out summer of next year.
Like right after the Marvels.
Yeah. So that would be summer of next year.
Honestly, I think Secret Invasion might be the next big storyline.
Right, like a full-blown Skrull takeover, maybe.
Yeah, like they started with the show, and then all of the movies that come out afterwards have like a hidden Skrull somewhere.
It's possible. I would love that, where you're just kind of questioning who's a Skrull and who's not. That'd be amazing. Yeah. Carry that for a few movies. You can easily squeeze a few movies out of that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's a lot of different ways they can go with this. We're still waiting for Feige to tell us what's up. We went through a whole year, 2 years of like.
We gotta wait a little bit longer.
Just tell us Feige.
We gotta wait a little bit longer. That's what San Diego Comic-Con's for. Yep. That's what it seems like anyway. But all right, let's move on to the main event. And I use that specifically because we are talking about the best mic worker across wrestling. So for anyone who hasn't been on the social media groups today, behind the scenes, the
main event was Obi-Wan.
Oh, I forgot about Obi-Wan. We haven't even talked about Obi-Wan. Damn, I knew I forgot something.
That's what I thought you were talking about.
Holy shit. Well, all right. So then after Obi-Wan, we're gonna quickly go through the matches. I just want to get your opinion on. I want to get your predictions on who you think is gonna win these matchups here. But Obi-Wan, man, I forgot about Obi-Wan. That was. I don't know
how you can forget about Obi-Wan.
That was
one of the best Star Wars things I've ever seen.
Except
in that finale.
I have one complaint, honestly. One storyline. Spoilers. If you haven't watched Obi-Wan by now, you should just get out of the show and wait for the YouTube recap after you watch it. Replay after you watch the episode. The Reva storyline in episode 6 Entirely pointless.
Every time they cut away, I
So
was just
annoying.
like, oh my god.
What was the point? They should have a better way to end her storyline. She was a decent character. Would have been, don't show us that she survived after she got stabbed. Just leave it vague. Let that be the end of it. And then if they do a Obi-Wan season 2, or if they continue the story in a Vader show, like then you can almost like
no
reveal
sense
it.
to follow her hunting.
Absolutely no sense.
She was hunting 3 people that we all know survive.
Right.
And survive like fine. There's no damage or nothing. We all knew that she wasn't going to do anything. So there was no tension whatsoever in that whole thing. I just felt like you said, I think you were just going to say it. Every time they cut to her, to me, episode 6, she was the Quan Ha of the Obi-Wan show. Every time they cut to her, I was like, oh my gosh, I don't care. Go back to the main event. What are you doing? Like, so frustrating.
Absolutely.
Storyline would have been way stronger. Is it like you said? Is Vader cuts her down, right? And then don't see her for the rest of the episode,
right?
And then all of a sudden, like you see her in the shadows, like talking to some mysterious figure,
right?
And she pops her lightsaber and shows that it's her. Like then you're like, oh, Reva's still, the third sister's still alive,
right? And then you actually get us excited for a possible, Reva show or Obi-Wan season 2 or something. Instead,
because I'll be honest, like
it was just pointless.
A lot of people were sending hate her way.
I don't know why. She was
early
good.
on though. Like after the first episode, they were doing that shit.
Yeah,
that's just
I thought she was great.
That's toxic fandom. That's just people being ridiculous.
Yeah, but I
thought she was a great character. I loved her character. Like it was predictable. Like you knew that she was going to be one of the Padwans. Like.
The younglings,
yeah. I mean, that was. I feel like when they revealed that, people were almost like acting like it was such like the big twist, and I was like, literally by the end of episode 1, I feel like we were all kind of like, well, yeah, obviously that's what she is. Buttersworth says, "Who pulled a buddy from Scary Movie 2 after watching Obi-Wan?" Oh, I definitely did. All over my room. I couldn't. That episode was so fantastic. I love everything about it. I think the whole showdown with Obi-Wan and Anakin. The thing is, so there's some like silliness to it, right? Let me just be very clear. There's some silliness to it. The fact that the giant, Star Destroyer couldn't kill a tiny little ship with a couple of rebels. Yeah, that's silly. But that's Star Wars silly. I mean, it's a part of the Star Wars DNA. You know what I mean? So that it didn't bother me that happened. I mean, we've seen that before. I will say, yeah. It did take a little long for Obi-Wan to finally leave the ship after he decided I'm going to distract Vader. I kind of was like, you're taking your time saying bye to everybody, get off the damn ship, But it's nothing that ruins the show. I think it kind of fits the whole cheesiness of Star Wars in general. Part of the reason why we love it so much. It's like part of the charm. But the whole showdown, the moment Obi-Wan did his little lightsaber flick and was pointing.
Just oh my God, goosebumps.
Dude. Yeah.
Oh my
God. Even now, just thinking about it, I'm getting goosebumps. It
was an epic level showdown that I just can't believe we actually got to see what they pulled off.
And they did it
insane.
I watched the fight scene a bunch of times, and like they did the choreography so well throughout the show. I gotta say the choreography was fantastic. You saw, without saying a word, you just saw Obi-Wan connecting a little bit more with the Force, little flares of like the old Obi-Wan showing up again.
Yeah, he was just building up.
Like little by little, they did such a good job. And then in that last fight scene,
he goes Super Saiyan.
I mean, it was nice to see.
The freaking world apart.
It was nice to see a Jedi use Force powers in an aggressive way. We always ever see them just kind of blocking stuff and whatever. It was nice to see him like really kind of being like, yo, if we're going to do this, we're doing this,
using the Force.
And the choreography was done so perfect. Well that...
Can I speak on that for a second?
Yeah, go ahead. Before
I mentioned it in the last episode of
the Multiversal podcast. I wanted to mention that. If you haven't yet, listen to the Multiversal podcast. On this last episode, though, skip the first 30 minutes because this isn't the only GGEN show that's a train wreck. Scythe joined the train wreck crew.
The train wreck is not on YouTube though.
Oh, okay. So you can listen to the replay on YouTube then, no problem.
But no, what I mentioned there, what I want to bring up to you guys and get your thoughts. How awesome was it to see Vader not fight like a stiff robot and see him actually be agile and limber and just move around? twirling around and just going wild and like really engaging Obi-Wan rather than being just a stiff board.
What's nice
like,
is
sword.
So this is what I was getting at with the choreography. Like they were able to keep the intensity of that fight scene at a level where everyone unanimously was just like on the edge of their seat, even though we knew no one was dying. We knew it was basically how it was going to end. At the same time, they didn't ruin episode 4 by showing them do these like spins and all these like flourishy kind of moves. It was more of like a gritty, like I'm just trying to take your head off kind of fight. And in the comics, I don't know if you guys read the Star Wars comics at all, but it's kind of been confirmed that the Emperor gave Vader a clunky, slow suit because he didn't want Vader to ever be stronger than him. And it was like, I'm going to do everything I can to just slow you down. And without telling the Emperor, Anakin or Vader is just tinkering and just making the suit just better so he can move around and fight and whatever. And I agree with you 100%. It was awesome against Reva and against Obi-Wan to see him be able to actually move. And, my favorite moment, honestly, in the whole fight, it's a little bit of just like physical storytelling, was against Reva. He didn't even take out his lightsaber. He stopped her over and over again. He took her lightsaber and gave it back to her.
Threw it back at her. It's such a baller move, bro.
In the first showdown with Obi-Wan, he one-handed his lightsaber the whole time. Just didn't even need to have his two hands. Didn't really give a shit. Just toying with him. And in this one, my favorite moment is after he starts one-handing it. Obi-Wan starts coming at him, and it's kind of like you almost feel him kind of go, "This isn't the same fight." And then he grabs it with two hands, and it's just kind of like ready. Oh, I almost jumped off my seat like during that.
One of my favorite moves that Vader did was when he was fighting him and he just force moves the rock to take his legs out.
Oh, so good. Oh, so good.
Bro, I'm like, this is so the way they just incorporated the force with the lightsaber battle. It was just fucking amazing, dude. It was incredible.
That's what, just real quick, Buttersworth says Anakin Skywalker played that part to the T. I was very impressed on what he did in the series. 100%. I mean, he
was insane.
He redeemed himself, Hayden Christensen. I mean, good for him. You know what I mean? Like, go ahead, Zuplex. I'm sorry.
We haven't seen Vader move like that since Rogue One, right?
Right.
And Rogue One was like 10 seconds of a fully CGI'd Vader just cutting down.
Right.
Bunch of,
he obliterated those guys in Rogue One, so it was almost like you didn't have to see him move around because he was just mowing them down.
Exactly. You could have given a stiff Vader in that moment, and it still would have worked in reality. So to see like a fully choreographed lightsaber battle between him and Obi-Wan, and it's Ewan McGregor,
so good, so good.
In the quality that they gave it to us was so intense. Right, and we, not only that, but the lightsaber battle between him and Reva too, was also just as intense and just as good, and they really did a lot of physical, like you were saying, physical storytelling throughout every episode. Both Vader and Obi-Wan show us. Well, I think Vader was already, like you said, like he was kind of toying with them early on. But they get better and better.
100%.
Season goes on.
It's almost like you physically can see Vader getting angrier that he hasn't killed Obi-Wan yet. And you can almost just feel it, like just the way he's moving that, like especially when he pulls down that ship and starts just tearing chunks out of it.
Yeah.
Like a friggin' just a monster. And then Obi-Wan's not there. And you could almost feel his like shoulders just start to kind of like, this fucking guy keeps getting away.
If anybody
and I'm losing.
Watch this show, I don't know what you're doing. But here's what you need to know. This show is so good that everybody knows how it's going to end.
Right.
We're still talking about it like it's the best damn Star Wars show ever.
You need to say that again. I'm going to close up on your face. Go ahead. Say that again.
Like, if you haven't watched this show, I don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Right? This show is so good that we all know how it was. Everybody knew how it was going to end. What we're doing is talking about it like it's the greatest Star Wars thing that we've ever seen. That's how good this show is. Go watch it if you want.
So it's a fantastic show. Just
I can't agree more.
Just a phenomenal show. I will say again, one of my other favorite moments was seeing, after Anakin Vader got his helmet cut open, the way his voice changed. I think Scythe, you mentioned this also in the
Bro,
Multiversal
yeah.
podcast. The way his
They did
voice
that
like
so well.
in and out as like James Earl Jones, but also Hayden Christensen, and like
It was, oh my god, I got chills thinking about that.
ju-
It was so good seeing them battle each other in the voice.
just the
It was
lighting
so
too,
good.
like how his face is red when he's basically like kind of coming at him as Vader, but it turns blue just for that split second when he's
Also-
basically saying to him like, almost like I'm still here, but I'm I'm choosing to let Anakin go, like, and then it goes back to that red like Sith color. It's just so phenomenal.
It was insane. We also know how he has that scar on his head in Return of the Jedi.
Yeah. More continuity, right? More
was
backstory that we didn't
awesome.
need. Buttersworth says the half mask, half face while he was talking to Obi-Wan. My God, I went absolutely nuts.
Now
it
that
was so
scene,
good, man.
that scene happened in Rebels, didn't it? But it was
Yep.
Ahsoka.
Yeah, so it's kind of a mirror image in Rebels. She cuts the other half of his mask, but it's almost exactly very similar. She cuts his mask. She sees Anakin under the helmet. She calls out to him, and he basically says, like, he yells, "I'm going to kill you." And it's like she realizes at that moment that Anakin's no longer Anakin, like that Vader is this person in front of her. So then at that point she kind of accepts. That's the whole like the big circle of life kind of storytelling. Her and Obi-Wan both see Anakin is there, but they give up on their friend, and Luke refused to give up, and he's the only one who successfully gets through and gets to take the mask off. It's just obviously, listen, it wasn't planned 30 years ago that this was going to happen, but this story, this show is the kind of thing we want from Star Wars on Disney Plus, like going
100%.
forward. Mandalorian is great. Don't get me wrong, Mandalorian is great, but when you're revisiting, you guys know I'm a big proponent of no more Skywalkers, no more Palpatines. Let's get other stories. If you're gonna give us the OG cast and crew and give us those stories, this is what I want. Areas of the show that we haven't seen before. Give us stories that we haven't seen before, moments that we never even knew happened. I don't want nothing has to tie back into it. Just flesh out those characters.
They
Like,
can
those
give
are
us
so good.
they can give us plenty of new stories with these two characters going their separate ways until they meet again in the movies.
Yeah, honestly, Scythe, you said it. You want a Vader show. I would, if they gave us a show where it's just Vader hunting down Jedi. Just literally Emperor Palpatine, like, oh, look, there's a Jedi, get him. Oh, wait, there's one right over there, get him. And just let him like a fucking rabid dog, just going at people.
Just getting more and more brutal as the episodes get on.
I don't know if they could do justice to the brutality I want to see. I want to see Vader, like, villain, just obliterating. I mean, he snapped a kid's neck in this show, which was, I was like, oh shit, I wasn't expecting that. So I want to see him do that. There's plenty of stories they can pull from. In the comics, I don't know how much of the Star Wars comics you read. In the older comics, so these aren't canon anymore, there's actually a storyline where Vader gets word of a powerful Jedi on some random planet. He basically says, I'll take care of this guy, and tells, I don't think they were Inquisitors at the time, but he basically tells his lieutenants, go over somewhere else, I got this. He lands on the planet. It turns out to be a trap, essentially. A group of Sith believers, attracted him there, because they didn't feel, they could sense the good in him, and they didn't feel he was worthy to be the Emperor's apprentice. And instead, they cloned Darth Maul, and they lured Vader there so Maul could kill him. And the whole comic is Vader and Maul fighting, and it's one of the best comics that, for me, a Star Wars fan, that I've read in the Star Wars world. It's a one-off thing, and my favorite is that when, in the end, Maul is just attacking, relentless. Vader can't keep up. He's about to lose, and then he basically stabs himself in order to get Maul behind him. And Maul's just kind of like, who could you hate so much that you gain that power? And Vader just whispers that he hates himself because of the shit that he did. And then that's how it ends, and everyone else is like, all right, I apologize. You can be the apprentice again. And if they give us that live action, I think I would probably, find whoever's involved and take care of
Maul again, right?
We have to.
Maul, bring back Maul something.
We definitely have to. I mean, they did show us a little cameo of him in Solo. I wouldn't mind getting a Maul show. The Maul that was developed in the Clone Wars and Rebels show is much more three-dimensional, much more kind of a well-rounded character, has much more of a brain, not just like a brute. And it's worth watching. Honestly, I would love to see that. I would love to see a Maul show. But anyway,
apparently, I guess the next show coming is Andor.
Yes. I'm excited for that one.
Yeah, and It's possible. I heard. I don't know who told me, but it's possible that he pops up there somewhere, working with Thrawn. Like they're gonna introduce Thrawn and
it could be,
possibly
yeah,
show that
because
Maul's still alive.
well, we know Maul basically survives through episodes 4, 5, and 6, and he basically dies between episode 6 and episode 7. So the Andor show is going to take place before episode 4, so he's around. And at that point in the timeline, if I'm I might be mistaken, but I'm pretty sure he's running the what the hell is the name? He's running some sort of criminal underground empire. I can't remember the name of it. It was in Solo, but he's basically in charge of them,
Now,
so he could be involved.
Because Maul, this is where it gets a little screwy for me with the Star Wars stuff. But because Maul survived, and we like you said, we know that he survives between 4, 5, and 6, and he dies between 6 and 7.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't that screw up the rule of 2?
Well, no, because the rule of 2 applies specifically to the Sith religion, not to Dark Force users. So, the whole idea of a Sith and a Jedi is just a religious thing. If you believe in being a Jedi, you believe in being a Sith, but you could be a Force user doing anything. So there's been like Ahsoka is a gray Force user. She's not a Sith or a Jedi. She uses the Force as she finds it's necessary. And there's plenty of Force users out there. At least in the old canon, there's tons of Force users out there that kind of just do what they use it in their own way. But the Sith is just, people got to remember, the Sith is just a religion. It's just a belief. Same thing as the Mandalorians. Some of them keep the helmet on, some of them don't. It's just different sects of people who do different things. So
I think I was thinking of it more in the lines of he, like you said, he's a Force user, Dark Force user. But if he's still alive, isn't he still the apprentice?
Technically, yeah, but you also got to remember too that the whole idea behind
kind of it's a little foggy for me. You know what I mean?
But the whole idea behind the dark side of the Force is that their whole thing's about power. So that means you lie, you cheat, you do whatever you can to become the most powerful person. So it's a kind of an unwritten rule that ever since the rule of 2 was put in place, there's never only been 2. You only knew about 2. You know what I mean? So
you kind of got that in Obi-Wan with the Grand Inquisitor.
Right, like the Inquisitor's a perfect example. They're all Dark Force users. They're not Sith, but they're Dark Force users.
And they lied and pretended he was dead the whole time.
Well, that's
pretended to give her the Grand Inquisitor role.
That's one thing that I think a lot of people almost miss. Like I heard a lot of making fun of the Inquisitors, but the whole point of their little group in Rebels and here in the show is that it shows you why you're not really supposed to have a ton of Sith. All they're going to do is lie to each other and try to backstab and get on top.
We even saw it in the Force, the video game. With,
and Knights of the Republic. You see it anything where there's more than one Jedi or more than one Sith, I should say. They don't work together. That's the whole negative, that they don't work together. They all want to be in charge. You know what I mean? It's like having a whole bunch of Ricks trying to work together. It's just never going to happen. But all right. Because I want to get the show wrapped up a little bit here.
Real quick.
Go ahead, sorry. Go.
I don't know if you announced it last week or if it wasn't even announced yet, but Cal Kestis is coming to Disney Plus soon.
Oh yeah, did they? I was gonna say they didn't announce a date or like that. Just that it's coming.
No,
he deserves his own show. His game is fantastic.
It's insane, and
they already have an actor lined up for him.
Yeah, right.
It's the same actor from the game. So.
Yeah, same guy. Who's a fantastic actor. So.
I wonder if there will be some crossover Inquisitor-wise. Like if we saw Reva, there's obviously the Grand Inquisitor. We saw, I think was it the third brother, or she was the third sister, the ninth brother or whatever it was in the show.
18th brother.
That gets a little confusing. They couldn't come up with a better naming system. Like, come on now.
Yeah, they definitely could have come up with a better naming system for them. But
all right, let's go into the wrestling tournament here. So, if you're on Facebook, you saw. We announced the best mic worker. It was a conversation that we at the GGEN crew had behind the scenes a little bit a few weeks back, and we decided let's put it out to a vote for everybody. And we came up with 32 names that we basically threw into a random generator. There's random matches. I put it all together. We put up round 1 today, which was Jake the Snake Roberts versus Bubba Ray Dudley. And so just looking at the Facebook poll right now, it's on the other socials too. It's on TikTok. It's on Instagram. and then Facebook. So that's kind of the 3 spots where you can vote. But looking at the Facebook group right now, Bubba Ray is winning by kind of a good margin, 14-4 in votes. I mean, we're going to leave it up for a few more days and get some more votes before we call it a day. I went with Jake the Snake, honestly, but that's just because like that was my childhood growing up, so I kind of felt like, I got to stick with that.
Makes sense.
But what I wanted to go over with you guys, I wanted to give anyone who's listening, anyone who listens to the replay. And
so I went with Bubba Ray Dudley, but
I did too.
I think, well, obviously most people did. But I want to give you guys kind of a snapshot of the matches coming up, and I just want a little prediction from you guys. Who do you think? Who do you predict is going to win? So the next matchup is going to be The Miz versus Becky Lynch.
That's actually a tough one, man.
That's a
very
stupid tough one.
So you guys know wrestling more than I do, so I kind of want to defer to you guys on the predictions here.
They're like their own class.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's hard. That's hard.
So I like what I've been trying to base this all off of is a couple of different criterias. Like anytime that I try and think back to whatever memorable promo I could think of for these guys, right? Like so with like Jake, I was like thinking about Jake the Snake and Bubba Ray today. I'm thinking about Jake the Snake. Every time because back in the day, there's going to be some mixture here because back in the day, the way they used to do it was interview style. Mean Gene sitting there being like, "All right, Jake, so what do you think about the upcoming match with Hulk Hogan?" Oh.
That's a fantastic Mean Gene.
Thank you. And then Jake goes into his whole promo. Right now, do it in the ring. They do it in front of the fans. They do it like after they've backstabbed somebody or it's a different style of doing promos. So with this matchup, you have 2 people who came up in kind of the same era doing the same style of promos, right? But thinking back of like their best promos, Becky Lynch, when she got the man moniker, right?
Yep, the man.
That's my coworker said too.
And like there was a lot that led up to that, but it was Survivor Series that was really the catalyst for all this, where they were doing like the SmackDown versus Raw, Raw invaded SmackDown, and she legit got her orbital crushed by Nia Jax, right? Blood coming down her face, and they ran off into the stands, and she's standing there in front of all the fans, like amidst the fans in the stands, holding her fist up in the air, blood all over her face. And it's just like, yo, Becky Lynch is the man.
Yeah.
And like when she came back, she's like, I'm the man now. That promo when she came back of her proclaiming herself to be the man is so freaking good. It's not even funny.
Great, yeah. It was.
All right, so you're clearly picking Becky Lynch.
I don't know, man, because
I don't know, because the Miz is fantastic on the mic. If it's one thing that he's great at, it's being on the microphone.
Buttersworth in the chat says the Miz, no question. So he made his decision real fast.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna. All right, I'm gonna say it's a toss up then. You got one of you guys saying the Miz for sure, and Carmine, you're saying Becky Lynch.
I'm not saying any of them are for sure.
I mean, I'm still. I got to think about this because the Miz.
That matchup's going to go up probably this weekend.
Promo, right?
Yeah.
That's her best promo. But the Miz has cut so many freaking great promos.
And he had the Miz show, not just his promos, but he had the shows.
Yeah. He's got Miz TV.
Miz TV.
And he's such an unlikable douchebag.
Yeah, he's good.
By design. You know what I'm saying? It's so good. So it's hard. I don't want to say who I'm going to pick now because we're obviously going to be doing this.
Yeah, we're going to. That matchup will probably go up this weekend. I'm on vacation the next couple of days. But the plan is to basically put a new one up every few days. I want to put up a new matchup.
So for everybody listening out there, like keep it to their mic skills. We don't care.
Yeah, this isn't the best wrestler. This is the best mic worker.
This is your favorite wrestler. Keep it to the mic skills and like who really cuts the best promo. Who really can go back and forth with somebody else the best? That's why we picked these 32 wrestlers was based off of that idea. So we want everybody to kind of like vote on them based off that criteria. Also,
we might throw out some bonus rounds as just like a one kind of one quick poll just to kind of have a little bit of fun with it. But this is going to be like the main tournament. This is the list here. So, Buttersworth says, I'll say it now. It's going to be The Rock versus CM Punk in the finals, which is funny, Buttersworth, because behind the scenes, I'm the prediction I'm getting is The Rock versus someone else, and I'm not going to reveal who it is. We'll see if it gets down to it. But so after the Miz and Becky Lynch,
style, so they might be in the same bracket.
Right? Yeah, they may be. You never know who's going to make it to the end. Exactly. Like, they may face the wrong person one week and just get knocked out. So, after the Miz and Becky Lynch, there's Roman Reigns is going at it with Batista in round 1.
That might be battle for the worst.
That's what my coworker said too. Look at that.
Yeah.
Neither one of them can talk on the mic. By the way, both of those are the captain's picks.
Oh shit! After that is Ted DiBiase versus Roddy Piper.
That's a good one.
That's a good
matchup, and both from the same era too.
That's why I like the matchup, because they're both from the same era. I mean, that's again me as a kid with my dad watching.
I feel like the matchup we have up right now, Jake the Snake is falling a little bit because he's from like an older era.
There might be people who haven't even really seen him.
But if you really go back and watch Jake the Snake, like he was so menacing.
That's what I think too. Now, again, just for anyone who's listening or who sees this later on, with every matchup, so the way it's going to work is I'm going to post up what we basically collectively feel is their best promo for each of the people, and then in the chat we'll throw out some more kind of links too. So, do your research and make a decision that you're happy with, honestly, because we're going to call people out on this stuff.
We want to hear why.
I want to know why. 100% I want to know why. Yeah, I definitely love just hearing the thought process behind it. Truthfully, this is kind of just doing this already a little bit is kind of getting me a little bit more into wrestling because I've kind of fallen out of it. So, Kevin Owens versus Daniel Bryant.
That's a good matchup. Also, both same era.
We got
I already know my winner on that one.
Yeah. We got Edge versus Triple H. Also. That's Edge versus Triple H. That's another
Edge versus
matchup.
Triple H. That's a really good matchup too. Yeah. Both Attitude Era guys, We
got a lot of good ones here. There's Bret Hart versus Kevin Nash, which I kind of feel like that's almost a little easy, to be honest, in my opinion.
And by the way, everybody, Bret Hart was a Steven Hinchman.
Yeah, that's a one-shot pick. And I'm just going to put this out there so the old world knows he regrets it, and he wants to change it, but we will not let him.
I want to put this out there. I didn't even get a pick.
Yeah, where were you, Scythe, when we were doing this?
I was there the whole time throwing names out there, and you guys were just starting everything. It was just, it's Zuplex and the captain and Steve Pickin. I'm like, all right.
You're like, what about this guy? We're like, yo, Steve, we said him 20 names ago.
I'm just gonna keep throwing names out there. I don't even care.
Well, now you can enjoy with us. You can have fun with us.
Yeah.
Dean Ambrose and Adam Cole. Then there's The Rock and Macho Man Randy Savage.
It's a tough matchup.
I feel like it's a tough matchup, but I feel like it's also going to be an easy.
Listen.
The problem is
it's going to be a biased victory.
Yes,
but
I agree.
It's way closer than people are going to vote on it for.
It should be way closer than.
Yeah.
No, but I agree with you, Scythe. I feel like The Rock. It's going to be hard to separate The Rock, from his wrestling days, his promo days, to The Rock now. He's still so popular that it's going to be hard for people to just not kind of gravitate towards it. But, that's a close matchup. Macho Man was so entertaining on the mic.
Yeah.
There's Hulk Hogan versus Cena, which isn't in the picture I have.
It's another one. It's a crazy good matchup.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a very strong matchup.
Round one's going to be very difficult.
Yeah. This is when I was going through this, I was thinking that to myself too, that this is not, it's not easy choices for every single one of these. A lot of these are going to be, you're going to have to think about. Eddie Guerrero versus Ric Flair.
All right, that's an easy one.
And those are two different eras, really, right? Cody Rhodes versus CM Punk. That's a tough one.
Woo! Who versus CM Punk?
Cody Rhodes versus CM Punk.
It's a tough one.
For me, it's a tough one. But again, I don't know it as well as you guys do. So, Shawn Michaels versus Seth Rollins.
Shawn Michaels versus Seth Rollins. Yeah, I mean that's going to be, I think, it should be a landslide in one way. It might go the other way.
Well, you never know, right? With the internet, Dusty Rhodes versus Jericho.
That's a really tough matchup.
Jericho's
the son of a plumber.
Yeah.
Wow.
Then there's Stone Cold versus Sasha Banks.
Round one is brutal, bro. Yeah. What the fuck?
Round one is brutal.
I feel like a lot of people's favorites are going to get voted out. Yeah. Stone Cold versus Sasha Banks. And then Bray Wyatt versus Razor Ramon. Those are the 16 matchups that we're starting with.
Bray Wyatt promos are fucking bonkers, bro.
Yeah, they're nuts. They're nuts. The Fireflies, forget it.
So one thing I'm looking forward to, since I'm gonna be
round
doing all the
sucks.
I'm gonna be doing the visuals.
Round one's gonna be really difficult.
Because I'm doing all the visuals for these posts, it just gives me an excuse to just do deep dives on some of these on the promos these guys do. So I'm gonna be spending hours just watching these people talk on mic.
I'll be honest though, like I was actually shocked to see like the voting so far on Bubba Ray versus Jake the Snake.
It was quick too. They like quickly started leaning towards Bubba.
I did not think a lot of people were gonna go towards Bubba Ray.
But I'm wondering if it's because the clip I chose was him being just a non-PC as can be at ECW.
Yeah, I mean, like, listen, the ECW days for any of these guys, like that was so I had originally wanted to pick a couple more ECW guys like Taz,
right?
But he just wasn't around long enough. He got buried so quickly in the WWE. It was hard to put him up against like someone like Stone Cold,
right?
You know, as like the greatest of all time. Like, because some of his ECW days of him doing promos with the towel on his head and just beat me if you can, survive if I let you, like that type of stuff.
You know what I wanted to do was put Iron Sheik in there, but I feel like any promo I found was just going to be him being racist. So it's good that he's.
It's just him being anti-American.
I'll tell you what, though, I'm probably just going to share a bunch of these. Anytime I come across a promo that makes me laugh or makes you smile, I'm probably just going to share it anyway. Buttersworth says,
"We're going to be sharing a bunch of promos.
Of course."
Margin Slaughter.
Buttersworth says, "How the hell is MJF not in this terrible selection?" Keep in mind, Buttersworth, that we couldn't do a tournament with like 150 people. We needed to kind of knock it down a little bit. So
honestly, the only reason we had talked about putting MJF in, but the biggest problem with MJF is he's only been in AEW, and we've only seen it's the same reason why Enzo Amore's not in there,
right? Because we really wanted to get people that were like across the wrestling world, so like you know, people that have been around for a while, people that kind of have a lot of a backlog.
They have a lot of promos to base their pin off of.
Right. Yeah. And listen, this doesn't have to be the first one. Once we're done with this tournament, we can easily match this person up, the winner against anyone else that we want, and come up with a second tournament. And
we also only went with just wrestlers. We didn't want to add in managers, so there's no Paul Heyman, there's no Jimmy Mouth of the South Hard, there's none of that. You know, no. What's a Classy Freddy? Well, I guess we could have put Classy Freddy.
You can have a bonus round of McMahon versus Eric Bischoff.
Yeah.
I want to do
Eric Bischoff, no Vince McMahon, no Shane McMahon.
I want to do just a bonus round of Undertaker versus Kane and just have them both staring at the camera for a while.
Who wins that match?
We might put it up for a vote and just see. You know what I mean? All right, boys. Yeah. All right, boys. We've officially hit an hour and a half. And now we're going to call it. That was a good episode. It was a good night. Thank you guys for taking an hour and a half with me. Buttersworth, as always, man, I appreciate you coming into the chat and jumping in with your comments. I love it. Keep an eye out. The replay for this episode will go up tomorrow at some point. And like I said, the next matchup in the tournament will go up probably this weekend. When I come back from vacation, I'm going to be on the beach the next few days. So if you need me, don't bother. Leave me alone. And I will see you guys next Tuesday. As always, like and subscribe. This will go up on the audio podcast platforms as well tomorrow. Join us on all the different socials. They've been scrolling across the bottom of the screen. And we also have merch if you guys are interested. If you join the Facebook group, there's a link right at the top where you can buy all kinds of merch, coffee cups, shirts, hoodies, the works, hats. And we will see you guys next week, man. Theater Room episode 47 is next week, inching ever closer to that elusive 50. And I will see you guys. I'll see you guys next time.
Later.